Hey everybody, welcome to my LEGO NES build. I am going to be putting together the Nintendo Entertainment System LEGO replica set. And during that time, I will be sharing some Nintendo facts and stories with you. So stick around and enjoy the video. Once again, welcome everybody. Today I'm constructing this incredible tribute to the system that defined gaming for an entire generation. As I piece together this nostalgic masterpiece, I'll share some Nintendo history, trivia, pop culture connections. So let's dive into the world of 8-bit glory. So, the Nintendo Entertainment System began life in Japan as the Famicom. Family computer is what basically that means in Japanese, in 1983. That's when it launched. When it arrived in North America 2 years later, the video game industry was still reeling from the infamous crash of '83. What was Nintendo's brilliant strategy? Market the NES as a toy rather than a video game console. So that sleek gray box packed some very modest specs by today's standards. Just an 8-bit processor with 2 kilobytes of RAM and a screen size or pixel display capable of showing 54 colors on a 256 by 240 pixel display. But those limitations sparked incredible creativity from developers. Now, I don't remember exactly what year I got my Nintendo Entertainment System, but I do vividly remember that it was a Christmas and my grandparents got it for me on Christmas. So me and my brother got a Nintendo and it was very exciting Christmas. So that is my little memory. I'm pretty sure I got it near around the launch. I don't know if it was quite 1985 or 1986, but it was very close to the beginning. So the NES controller specifically revolutionized gaming with its elegant design, if we can call it that, with its very box-shaped design, but it had a D-pad, 2 action buttons, and start and select. This fundamental layout influenced virtually every controller that followed. While it seems basic and rudimentary now, it was perfectly engineered for its time. Did you know that the Japanese Famicom had a microphone built into the second controller? Some games, like The Legend of Zelda, actually used it. You could defeat certain enemies by yelling into it. The North American version lost this feature, but gained the front-loading toaster design we all know and love, which is the Lego set that I'm building that looks like the replica of the North American version. And then speaking of those cartridges, Nintendo implemented the 10NES Lockout chip to ensure quality control and prevent unauthorized games. This was their response to the flood of poor quality titles that contributed to the '83 video game crash. Of course, enterprising companies found ways around it. Tengen, I believe is how you say it, famously reversed engineered the chip, leading to some legal battles. Those were those sort of off-colored, different-looking Nintendo cartridges, which I do remember seeing and maybe renting on occasion back in the day. But anyways, The Legend of Zelda was the first NES game to include battery backup for saving progress. That's why it came in the distinctive gold cartridge. Before that innovation, players had to start from scratch every time they turned off the console. So that was the first one that you could save your game. And I definitely remember playing that game. So fun. With over 61 million units sold worldwide and more than 700 licensed games in North America alone, the NES dominated the cultural landscape. Super Mario Bros. Sold a staggering 40 million copies, cementing Nintendo's mascot as a global icon. And then in 1989, the movie The Wizard gave audiences their first glimpse of Super Mario Bros. 3, months before its official release. This was product placement on another level, an entire film built around showcasing Nintendo games. And I remember when that movie came out, and I saw it, and it was mind-blowing at the time. Back then, you just didn't have the same media that you have now, and you saw this whole movie, which, by the way, is actually a really good movie, and you should go watch it. It still holds up to this day. I just watched it not too long ago. And when they revealed Super Mario Bros. 3 at the end of it, I just remember going crazy. I was counting down the days before I could go get it. I don't know if I could afford buying it right away. Back then, I usually had to wait for my birthday or Christmas, but I know I rented the game. I think I rented it the first day I could get it, and that's a whole nother story. Back in the day, you could just go rent games all the time. I rented so many games back in the day. But the NES invaded television as well. Captain N, the game master, brought video game characters to Saturday morning cartoons. The Super Mario Bros. Super Show mixed live-action segments with animated adventures. Even mainstream shows like Home Alone and Full House featured characters playing the NES. Years later, Stranger Things would use the NES as an authentic touchstone of 1980s childhood nostalgia. The system's cultural impact was so profound that it continues to influence media decades later. Nintendo created some truly innovative and sometimes bizarre accessories for the NES. The Zapper light gun made Duck Hunt possible. The Power Pad let you exercise while gaming. And Rob, the robot, was more marketing gimmick than useful peripheral, but it helped get the system into stores. And I believe early on they marketed the Nintendo with Rob the robot to push it as being more of a toy rather than a video game system. But then there was the infamous Power Glove, immortalized by Lucas in The Wizard, with his cool yet ironically accurate line, "I love the Power Glove, it's so bad." Despite being notoriously difficult to use, it became a cult classic. It was truly awful. I only got to use it a couple of times, but it was absolute a gimmick and garbage. But also, Nintendo even developed a knitting machine peripheral that never made it to market, but there was so many different odd accessories. The NES world is full of secrets and collectibles. Stadium Events is now one of the rarest and most valuable NES game, with original copies selling for tens of thousands of dollars. Super Mario Bros. Contains the legendary Minus World glitch, an endless water level accessed through a wall in World 1-2. Speedrunners still use glitches like this in competitions today. I can just remember finding like the hidden warp pipes that could advance you through the game quicker in Mario Brothers, just learning about little cheats and different things that were even programmed into some of these games. It was just incredible back then with gaming and everything, because I had played a little bit of Atari. I never owned one, but the Nintendo just seemed like insane leaps and bounds ahead of the Atari. Nintendo supported the NES for an impressive decade, with Wario's Woods being the last officially licensed game in North America in 1994. But the system's influence extends far beyond its commercial lifespan. When Nintendo released the NES Classic Edition in 2016, a miniaturized version with 30 pre-installed games, it sold out instantly. Original NES consoles remained prized possessions for collectors, and games for the system continue to inspire indie developers today, including myself, which if you want to go check out my other channel, you can see links in the description for Neon Dream Games. That is my indie developer channel. So, as I showcase the final results of this LEGO NES build, I'm reminded that we're not just building a replica of a console, we're reconstructing a piece of gaming history that shaped how we play, compete, and connect. This little gray box introduced millions to the joy of gaming and created memories that last a lifetime. Whether you're an original NES kid or discovered these games through later collections, there's something magical about the simplicity and creativity of the 8-bit era. Anyways, thanks for joining me on this brick-by-brick journey through Nintendo history. If you have any of your own NES memories, share them in the comments. Make sure to like the video if you enjoyed the video and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next time on the Nerd Post. And as always, keep YouTubing it up.